In the misty highlands of Silverpine Ridge, a remote mountainous forest nestled somewhere in the Pacific Northwest of America, lived a group of wild monkeys. Among them was a baby monkey named Benji, known for his boundless energy and mischievous spirit. Benji was the heart of the group, always swinging from branch to branch, chattering joyfully and exploring the unexplored. This monkey troop often wandered through the dense woods in search of food. One morning, as the fog lifted from the tree canopy, they stumbled upon a maize field on the slope of a hill, lush, green, and ripe. The field belonged to a native tribal man named Caleb Pike, who lived with his family atop a rocky ridge deep within the wilderness. Caleb, like many of his people from the Redwood tribe, practiced hillside farming. This season he had cultivated maize on the steep land, but to protect his crops from wild animals, local hunters had set several traps in and around the field: wire snares, hidden pits, and thorny fences. As fate would have it, while leaping curiously among the corn stalks, little Benji stepped into a thin wire snare meant for small predators. In a blink, the trap tightened around his tiny neck. The more he struggled, the tighter it gripped. Panic surged through his fragile body. His frightened cries echoed through the woods. Benji's parents and the entire monkey troop rushed to the scene. They circled him, chattering and screaming, trying to figure out a way to help. But they were helpless. No one could approach the trap without causing Benji more harm. His eyes began to droop. His breathing slowed. Death seemed near. Just then, out of the shadows of the forest came a young shepherd named Simon Carter. Simon, a quiet 17-year-old boy, lived in the nearby village of Maple Hollow. Every day he brought his cattle to graze in the open parts of Silverpine Ridge. As he followed his cows through a familiar trail, he heard strange cries that weren't animal calls he usually recognized. Curiosity drew him toward the maize field. What he saw startled him. A baby monkey caught in a wire trap, gasping for breath. Around it, dozens of monkeys, some on the ground, others clinging to branches, all watching anxiously. Simon froze. The monkeys looked defensive, some even threatening. He clutched his shepherd's staff tightly, not knowing whether they would attack or flee. But something in Benji's eyes, a helpless glint, a desperate plea, moved him. Trembling yet determined, Simon stepped slowly forward, waving his stick gently to create distance. He murmured softly, "Easy. I'm just trying to help." The monkeys backed away but kept watching. Benji, now barely conscious, tried once again to move but collapsed. Simon knelt beside him. With one hand he steadied Benji gently, and with the other he began loosening the snare. It was tricky. The wire was tight and Benji's pulse was weak. Carefully, patiently, Simon worked his fingers around the loop. Sweat dripped down his brow. Finally, with a small snap, the wire released. Benji lay still for a moment. Then, with a sudden gasp of air, he opened his eyes. A faint chirp escaped his lips. The forest echoed with the sound of relieved howls. Benji's mother rushed to him, nuzzling and grooming him, tears shining in her eyes. One by one, the monkeys surrounded Simon, not with anger, but with what felt like gratitude. Simon backed away slowly, sat down on a large rock nearby, and exhaled deeply. Benji looked back once more, locking eyes with Simon. A silent thank you. The troop retreated into the jungle, their beloved Benji safe in their midst. Simon stood up, glanced toward the sky, then toward his cattle, and began walking back toward Maple Hollow. Reflection. This story, though seemingly small, reminds us of something grand. Compassion knows no species. Courage requires no armor. And even a young shepherd can become a guardian angel for a life in need. What happens next? Will Simon and Benji cross paths again? Will this act of kindness bridge the world of humans and animals? Perhaps. That's something for us to ponder.